I thought I'd give you an update on the situation. It doesn't look hopeful right now. It looks like it's going to be weeks because I had to order this material from China, which is a soft ferrite magnetic core material, and it looks like I'm going to be waiting possibly till January. It's not good, and it's because of the price. It actually comes to about $37, but it's £25 in UK money. So this is the only material I could find that I believe is suitable for the secondary cores, which I want to hybridize because at the moment the cores that I'm using for the secondary is the let's move this out of the way. I don't want to have an accident. At the moment, where's my torch? Oh. If you remember when I made these, I used welding rod, which is in there at the back. You can see the little bits of rod sticking through the core and intersecting in the middle, right down there, going through. Focus. So the cores at the moment, they want a resonator to a lower frequency, which is too low, and I wanted to increase the resonant frequency of the secondary cores between these corners, and the only way to do that is to have a mixture of both steel rod and ferrite material, which will lift the resonant frequency so I can get a better coupling. You see what's happening? The way to explain it simply is, if you've got a ball on the end of a piece of elastic, you remember those things we used to use years ago, kids' toys, and you'd put it through your middle finger and you'd bounce your hand like that. If you get the wrong resonant frequency, the ball basically doesn't go anywhere, it just sticks to your hand. If you do it too quick, it doesn't move. So the way the core material works is, when you get to the right resonant frequency, you have amplitude amplification on the core material, which is what this is supposed to do to optimize the output on the secondary coils. Well, at the moment, it's acting like a rubber buffer or a train buffer on the front of a train. It just like a shock absorber. It's absorbing that energy instead of transmitting that energy through to the coil, which is the best way of explaining it, I suppose. So I have to change my core material to get it to work at 2.5 kilohertz more effectively. I haven't wound the rest of the coils. I have some more coils I was showing you over there on my coil winder, which are right over there, which I showed in the previous video. I haven't wound any more of those yet because I'm thinking that it's not going to make much difference even if I wind them, because there's no rush in winding them, to be honest, because this core material needs to be sorted out. It needs to be brought into alignment, and the reason I know this is because when I stick capacitors across the coil, across the output coils, it actually lowers the resonance on the frequency of the coil itself to help it to match more closely to the lower frequency on the core material. That's how I know that the core material itself wants to be risen in frequency, so that I don't have to have the capacitors across the coil, if you get what I'm saying. It's a bit of counterbalancing with the inductance and the reactance. That's the key word, reactance. It's the reactive effect of the collection coils which needs to be tuned more so, because I do have ferrite rings on my actuator section, so that's mostly, apart from the coupling that goes through the concentric magnet rings, apart from that material, which is steel, which is pretty low mass actually, that won't make much of a difference because I've tried attenuating that by I've added extra magnets and I haven't seen much of a gain. I did a test the other day. I attached a coil to the end of my oscilloscope. I'm not going to show you this because it's pointless really. I attached a coil to the end of my oscilloscope. I set it ×1 and I moved that coil between the top end of the actuator coil here and all the way around my corner, and I didn't see much of a drop in the amplitude on the pickup until I got to this section at the top. Once I got to this section at the top, I started to see at this point over here, this top end here. I'll probably best get a pointer. I'll get my paintbrush. Here at this, I'll go on this side. It's just the same. This side, I had a pretty strong inductive field being collected on the oscilloscope probe with a pickup coil. And as I moved the pickup coil around this corner on this side, I still had a really strong field here. But once I got up to this point over here, near where this core material is, that's when the field starts to collapse. It starts to shrink quite dramatically on the oscilloscope. So I'd see the waveform just shrink. And that is because of the damping effect of this core material. So the core material is damping too much. It's suppressing the field. That's how I know that I need to raise that inductive reactance to be more suitable for 2.5 kilohertz. So anyway, that's why I onboarded this material. I did look at other materials like antenna bars, but the only sources really for this which are economical for me to order because of my lack of budget is China, unfortunately. And because of that and the coronavirus epidemic everywhere, there's just, and Christmas is coming as well, so it looks like January at the worst case scenario before I'm going to get this material. I'm hoping that I'm going to get it in December. I'm really hoping I will, but let's face it, everybody's locked down for holidays, and this lockdown situation is just crazy, and so it doesn't look like I'm going to make any progress for about a month or so now, unless somebody donates and I'm able to actually order it from a UK supplier, and obviously that's going to cost a lot more than what I'm paying ordering from China. I mean, there are some people who stock this material in the UK, but the postage and packing, there's some companies in the EU that might have it, but they have postage and packing charges, which adds a lot to the amount. And I mean, we're talking 50 quid, possibly more than that. Because I need quite a lot of this fiber material to make up for the core inner section. I've had to order 5 times the quantity because there's 5 bars in each item order. There's 5 pieces, and in each piece, let me just click on it. Actually, let's go to. I'll just open it up and show you what I mean, so you can see the dimensions. The dimensions of this material is 5 millimeters by 15 by 56 millimeters, and there's 5 pieces. There's 5 pieces in each one. I've had to order 4 lots. 4 lots, which is quite a lot, and that's the material I plan to use. It's fairly flat, so I've got to stack them. I've got to laminate them together in a 3D printed. I'm going to 3D print a sleeve to hold them all together and feed them through, and I'm going to have steel welding rods on the outside, a perimeter as a ring that goes around the ferrite, and have the ferrite core in the middle. That way it will increase my resonant frequency. Yeah, as I say, there's probably UK suppliers that have this stuff as well, but it's not cheap. I don't know if the eBay, it's hard to find, to be honest. It's very difficult to find the materials that I want on eBay. I've been looking through the page, and there's a few round bar materials, but they're not exactly suitable because they're mostly for, well, they're for radio, but they probably would work. But round bar isn't ideal because there's air gaps between because it's round. You can't get them sandwiched close to each other, and the flat bar material is much better because I can you can get you end up with less air gaps, and air gaps can be a bit of a problem if you don't want them there. If you want close coupling, for example. So I've been looking all over for this stuff, and on eBay it's very difficult to find the right materials. Near impossible actually. I could probably source them somewhere else, but as I said, they'd probably cost me an arm and a leg. Probably cost me too much. So it's all about money at the moment. Everyone's struggling, aren't they? So as I say, I'll do my best. We just have to be patient right now. So try not to expect any frequent updates over the next few weeks, because until these materials arrive, I just can't do anything about it. It's yeah, it's depressing. Um, yeah, being stuck like this. I hit a wall occasionally like this when I can't get hold of materials, and to be honest with you, I'm extremely tired right now. I've been over the last few years. My brain's turned to jelly just about. It feels like it anyway. It feels like my brain's turned to jelly. We're thinking about this stuff, working it all out in my head. I'm trying to find solutions. Um, try to work out how to do all this stuff, because it is a new frontier as far as I'm aware. All this free energy stuff is a new frontier. I mean, we're exploring unknown territory, so I mean, it can give the best of us a headache, and it really has done that to me. And yeah, I feel a bit like Mr. Spock when he's lost his consciousness and is basically being reset. And yeah, I don't know how else to put it really. I'm just trying to, yeah, make the best out of what I've got, and unfortunately, I haven't got a lot right now until this material shows up. But yeah, but in the meantime, I suppose I can keep myself occupied with winding those other coils over there, which I did start and I kind of stopped, but it would only take me 7 hours, 8 hours to finish winding those. I haven't done anything since the last video, to be honest with you, because I figured, well, there's no point in rushing right now, because I don't think the new coils are going to make a big difference without that core material sorting out. Um, and obviously I can do a bit of SketchUp designing for the holders that are going to hold this core material. I can do a bit of that over the winter months, over December, to keep me occupied. But I'm kind of watching a bit of snooker right now on the YouTube. Just trying to chill out a bit and take my mind off things and let my thoughts recollate and get my focus back, and unjellify my brain. uh, I don't know how else to put it really. It's just that when you're focused on something for so long, and you've dedicated hours and hours and hours to something, and you don't get any money for all the work you're doing on it, and you just kind of lose the spark. You lose the ambition or the optimism, if you know what I mean, because you just feel like it's like digging a hole looking for gold, I suppose, and you just keep digging and digging and you're not finding anything. And I mean, even though I feel that I'm close to something here, and I am close to something here. It's really is starting to look like it's going to be payday, but after a while, you kind of lose interest in it, if you know what I mean. You just you kind of feel like, what's the point, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Because the world, where the world's going right now, you feel like the whole world's about to collapse around you, and it's that kind of a feeling of dread and depressing. And I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to be positive, but I'm trying to hold up a 10-ton bridge with matchsticks is basically how I feel right now. I feel like the whole bridge is about to collapse on me, and I just need a break. Anyway, uh, I'll get back to you as soon as I've got something more. Okay.